Hi guys, how are you doing today? So how's everybody doing? Happy Canada Day. And I just wanted to give you a quick little update and a bit of a rant because first off, it's been almost a week. Today is Friday. It's been almost a week since I last experienced any sort of severe burning or swelling in the roof of my mouth. So that's something. I tried to call the specialist yesterday, but I was supposed to leave a message and I didn't know exactly how to go about explaining what I needed. So I'm thinking maybe of passing by the office and maybe trying to get some advice first on what to do with my crown. Anyway, I'm still working on my health, so let's put it that way. I'm not sure it's gonna amount to anything much within the next few days or so, but I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed and hopefully I'll get somewhere with that. This is about an ongoing situation that's been really stressing me out, and because it affects my health, I thought I would try to share this with you. I don't know if anybody out there is having this sort of experience, but here it goes. I'll explain it as best as I can. I have a cell phone. I don't have a landline because I was having problems with the service I was receiving. I'm not going to mention any phone companies or anything like that. But there are only a few, so I'm going to leave it up to your imaginations to figure it out on your own. With the landline that my mom and I had once upon a time my own phone line in my own room, which worked okay up until a certain point. And then I began to realize that a lot of my messages were getting deleted. And I used to pick up the phone and hear two men talking. It was very creepy. I had the kind of phone that would light up red every time it was in use. And I remember waking up sometimes in the middle of the night to get a drink of water or go to the bathroom, and I would see that red light. And it would scare the dickens out of me. I'd pick it up and I'd hear these people talking. It was incredible. So eventually, because it began to get very expensive and I was having numerous problems with the service I was receiving, it gradually got worse. I decided to delete my phone line and just use my mom's phone line. And, as the years went on, it was incredible. I started to experience and notice the same sorts of things, that we would see messages blinking on our phone, and then I don't know what happened. Maybe the power went out or the fire department came to perform some sort of service. And then what would happen is the messages would all disappear. And we would lose all of our caller display pop-ups, and it was really weird and quite ongoing, quite frequent, like maybe 2-3 times a week. And after my mother passed away, it got scary. I had to change the number, and I had problems because my mother was gone and the company wouldn't let me change the number. But it was affecting my credit cards, because when I went to go to my credit card settings, weird things were taking place. I would have my accounts frozen or locked. This is ridiculous. This goes to show you what happens in a situation where the government refuses or can't, for some reason, or doesn't know how to enforce its laws. This was all, in my opinion, all identity theft. And even as recent as last January, as soon is I put a new cell number on my bank account. The bank account got frozen, and my security apps here at home all stopped working. My network kept going down. This is all incredible. And I know that it wasn't the cable company. Let's put it that way. It's not the cable company. At least it wasn't at that point. So what happened is I began to realize last week that every time I took my cell phone out, the power of my phone would go off and on its own. And I remember always, like, usually what I do is I check location and make sure that it's off, because that could be very dangerous. In the area where I live, it's very populated with police departments and fire departments and whatever have you. So there's a lot of interference with electricity and all the digital wires that are here. And so I began to realize that somebody, somewhere, somehow had access to my cellular phone and was remotely controlling it, even though the remote controls were all turned off. And when I went to look at the location, well, lo and behold, somebody turned it on. So I switched it off. And I remember turning the phone off, because I usually leave it off. I only bring my phone with me in case I want to record something or make an audio recording for a shopping list or something like that. I don't use it for telephone calls at all. And so I went to the store, the phone store, the cell phone store, to get my cellular updated again. I just have this done, oh my goodness, the beginning of June, because the same thing was happening. All of my apps were turning off and on their own, so I knew that somebody had access. Anyway, what I did was, in June, they wouldn't change my SIM card. Even though I begged them to give me another SIM card, they said, no, we'll change your number and that's it. Can you imagine going to a cell phone store after you paid, what, $1,800 for a cell phone, and they refuse to give you service? I actually, for your information, I have pay as you go, which is very stress-free for me. I can usually put a few dollars a month, and it just gives me enough time to do what I need to do on the phone, which is very, very little. And a couple of people do have my cell phone number, but they know that they can't give it out. And I don't know how this is happening. I just know that in June, when I went to change my number and they didn't change the SIM card, that's what started it all. So yesterday, I went back, and guess who was there waiting for something in front of the cell phone store in the parking lot, which is in a mall, by the way. Yes, 2 or 3 squad cars. Last time it was the fire department. So whatever is taking place here, I think that in many cases, many, not all, emergency service and the police do wonderful work. And I'm going to leave it at that. Other cases, I don't know who's doing this. I don't know who's pulling up from another region and going into a Toronto mall and waiting there for things that never happen. I don't know what's going on. Maybe they were there for some other reason. I don't know. But because my location was turned on without me knowing it on my cell phone, that to me is very fishy. What do you think? It happens, but because I'm the one being scammed here, it has to stop. Whatever is going on, it has to stop. Now, I went into the store and I discussed what happened, and it was a kid. And I've already had words, oh my God, a decade ago with this particular outlet. I don't like it when I come in there with an issue and I have a child serving me. I want an adult there. And I'm always polite. And I think one of the women clients there, she was talking in another language. She tried to call me an idiot. I know because I studied languages in university, but, just because I look stupid and I'm pleasant, that doesn't mean I am. Stupid, by the way, I'm not. And so what I did was I explained it to him, and I said, okay, he asked me when my time was going to run out, and I told him, I explained to him all these situations where I would buy it, the pay-as-you-go card. This is BS. They don't do things like that. It's almost like as though I was going to be set up for something. It's incredible what you have to put up with just to get a little decent service sometimes. So he changed the SIM card, and you know how much he charged me? Almost $30. But you know what else happened? The paperwork, that paperwork with the barcode, he kept it all. I said, I need that paperwork. He said, oh no, this is for me. Okay. I gave him almost $30, and I walked out of there feeling really, to tell you the truth, pissed. Wouldn't you? I get to the car, and by now there are even more squad cars out there. I get, such a hassled feeling. This is one of the reasons why I don't feel like I'm home when I'm in this city. And especially in this area of the city, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. But it can't be on the up and up with what happened in the phone outlet. It can't be on the up and up. So I drive about a few miles around the corner up the street, and I pulled over and I went into a store to get a bottle of water. And my phone, I turned it off. I remember turning it off when I got out of the mall at the phone store, and I put it on the seat of my car. By the time I got to the store, the convenience store where I have my water, where I got my water, the phone was on. And I thought, geez, again? And so what I did was I had to go and pick up a couple of things in the neighborhood, and I turned it off again. And then I got to the store, and when I went to the phone, it was on again. So this went on basically all afternoon. By this time it was about 5-ish, 5:30. And so I got to the store and I saw that my phone was open. I was pretty upset. So I went into the store, I filmed a little, and I did a quick little video. And I put the phone back in my car, I shut it off, and this time it stayed off. And I left it home. I went out without my phone. And wouldn't you know it though, as soon as I left the house and I left the house again about 7:30, something like that. And as soon as I left the house to go somewhere, all these first responders, emergency vehicles were swarming, going up and down in front of, I just couldn't take it. I just could not take it. Even because when I see those vehicles, it stresses me. I always imagine that there's something wrong, and I have to get out of the area. It's just the way that I feel. And I've had some run-ins, not physically. I've had some situations where I knew that something was wrong and that I was being, bombarded with all these emergency vehicles swarming me. And it was for nothing. And it was all related to my location being turned on with my phone. So in other words, if I want to go out anywhere and I bring my phone, I feel as though I'm under constant threat. Either my phone location is going to be turned on, and I have to tell you, the reason why I get upset with this is because usually in the intersection where my house, my condo is, there's always some fool, a drunken fool, trying to plow through a red light. And I mean minutes after the light turns red. Seconds, maybe 30, 40 seconds. And who's always in the middle of the green light passing through? Me. And I had a car totaled, completely totaled in October of just 2021, and the police had the audacity to charge me. That's gone to court. So anyway, I have a real reason to feel threatened by my location being turned on constantly by whoever it is. I have a pretty good idea of who it is, and I have a pretty good idea of who is controlling the phone store, criminals. That has to stop. What kind of a society do we live in when we can't even have a cell phone that is being remotely accessed by all kinds of creeps and criminals? And I don't care what costume they put on that day, it's illegal. And the police need to start acting as though it is illegal. Because if it isn't, then our government, our laws are all, I don't know, do they mean anything? People have to start enforcing some sort of order. It's ridiculous to keep reporting all these scams and nothing happens. I just don't understand it. And it's always around this time of year and in August, September, and in January, February. Those are the 3 periods of the year in which this stuff starts to become so, typical every day. I can't handle it. It's just so mundane and monotonous and tiresome and very, very stressful for me. So anyway, I hope that I haven't stressed anybody out there very much, but I really recommend that if you are experiencing some problems with your digital devices, there are numbers out there that you can call to report such scams. Every phone company has one. If you can't find it, your best bet is to go to the RCMP if it's not stopping. And especially because, the first thing that you'll find online is that these scams are all focused on targeting your financial information. And the first thing that you're going to see, if your cell phone number has been compromised, is that your banking settings are changing. Or if you see little withdrawals, you don't know what they are. That's what happened to me since November. So keep your eyes open for stuff like that. A lot of people get scammed, they don't even know it. So keep your eyes peeled, keep your life peaceful, and make sure that your devices are all safe. Of course, if you want to keep your location on, that's totally up to you. But in my case, I found out that I can't. I can't give out my number because people are constantly putting me on Find My Friend, even though I asked them not to. And I had to keep changing my number. It's not a good way for me to live. I feel so isolated, but I'd rather be at peace and safe than have all this crap going on. I don't know how else to describe it. Anyway, I hope that you're going to have a great Canada Day weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. I am thinking of uploading that recipe for tonight. However, depending on how my day goes, if I have another crap day, I might put it off for another day. Uh, I don't know. We'll have to see. But I have all the ingredients, and I'm doing it in real time. So if it's going to be a fail, it'll fail. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day. Bye bye.